There comes a day in every YouTuber's career where they say something really embarrassing online that comes back to haunt them, and for me, I think that might be claiming that Pirate Seas will be the hardest world of the challenge. I'm not sure if it was just agonizingly short-sighted or overly optimistic, but regardless, it got a lot harder already. This challenge is so obtrusively difficult, in fact, that I'm going to be taking a couple of breaks. After every third part of this series, I'm going to work on a different project just to let my brain heal a little. Mostly Plants vs Zombies still, but I have really been wanting to make a monkeys video recently. Anyway, I'm not going to waste any more time because this one is a long, bumpy road. Day 1's the same as always. You'll notice as we go along in this world that I tend to avoid the minecarts at all costs. I actually think it's one of the better mechanics in the game, I just can't really be bothered with it. Day 2 introduces us to the first new zombie in the Prospector. This zombie is not that bad to be honest. A single hurricane deals with it with no problem. Day 3 and the world has wasted no time giving us another new zombie, and this time it's the piano zombie, or pianist zombie if you want to be all proper about it. I've gone on record as to call a lot of zombies the worst, but this guy is the devil himself. Upon his introduction, I didn't pay him too much mind. Just another instant kill zombie to send a gumnut jow. That was, however, until I got to the very end of the level and narrowly avoided the loss by about 1 nanosecond. Let me be clear to you guys. This zombie isn't challenging, he's not difficult to play against. He is just so time consuming. He sextuples the amount of time it takes to beat any level because of the sheer amount of randomness of the zombies moseying up or down. This guy is the worst. Day 4's a conveyor belt level. I'm so glad we can skip over these this time because I cannot stand the Wild West conveyor belt levels, easily the worst in the game. Day 5 and yet another zombie is introduced in the Great Zombie, which you guys informed me is a very obvious reference to Back in the Future, which I missed because I've watched about 5 movies in my entire life. For the first time in a hot minute, I'm able to say safely that this zombie is no threat at all. So far I've used the Suck and Blow in each level because it's so much easier than using Wall Stall. Using walnuts on cooldown is a surprisingly high APM task, but on day 6 I made a huge upgrade. Now I've tried to force the aloe into many a strategy, and whilst he can work, he never really benefits the strategy, he's just sort of there for the sake of it. But someone in Twitch chat rightly pointed out I wouldn't need to keep replacing garlics if I just put an aloe down. I think this is the very first time that the aloe has actually felt like a real benefit. It's not a big difference, but it's much more comfortable. All that said, it didn't matter in the slightest because the piano just waltzed through them. This day is a planning defense stage, which tend to be very hard in this challenge, and this one was no different. I spent ages working out a way to stall everyone out to the end of the level, but the only thing it could hold was reinforcement spam, which, to be fair, held zombies back effortlessly. And with all the zombies on the screen, all that's left is to let the lawnmowers rip. So this is what makes this world unbearable. This level is easy. Gumnut plus reinforcement is a truly unholy combo. It takes absolutely no effort or thought whatsoever. Just 15 minutes of waiting around till all the zombies appear on screen, and then we cross our fingers that all the lawnmowers trigger at the same time, or that the zombies don't move into mowerless lanes. With every zombie moving up or down on a 50-50, it's just like passing 50 odd coin flips in a row, no big ask really. There is very little we can do about this. The garlic and sweet potato are good in theory, being able to move zombies around, but those plants just sort of wrestle with the piano zombie going back and forth, and it makes it harder if anything. This level, despite being ridiculously easy to stall out, took 3 full hours of attempts. That's not the longest grind we've had to do. I think the worst level to this day was 8 hours spent towards the end of Big Wave Beach and the Nut Challenge. But this certainly felt like the longest grind, as there's one more quirk to the piano zombie that I've not mentioned yet. Seemingly innocuous is the little jingle jangle of the piano's melody. This is a fun little addition to the regular playthrough of the game, but if your aim is to stall the game out for as long as you can, then you are stuck listening to this 3-second piano loop for hours upon hours upon hours. It is truly mind-numbing. In the end, I was able to beat this level with infinite plant food. That allows us to make every zombie hit the lawnmower at the same time. I thought this would be a permanent solution to the piano zombie, but spoiler, I was never able to recreate this success throughout the entire world. Day 7 was the introduction of something way more important than a new zombie. It's the first appearance of my new VTuber model thing. Don't worry, he won't be appearing in videos, but I was excited to take it out for a spin, so he'll be here for the next few levels. If you do want to see more of this cute little fella, however, follow me on Twitch. Day 7 didn't have any pianos, thus it was pretty easy. Day 9 was a given plant level. I just learned from the original Alex's latest video that these are called brain busters. You should check that video out. Day 10 is the first time we have to deal with the chicken wrangler. The danger of the chicken wrangler is a bit multifaceted. Firstly, these little hell spawns do a lot of damage, enough to make wall stall entirely unviable. Secondly, if these zombies go untriggered, they spawn chickens after the lawnmowers. But this isn't really a problem because thirdly, these zombies just trigger at random a lot. Totally unprompted, chickens will just spawn off screen in a way that's really hard to react to. Fourthly, these zombies do not care about the hurricane in the slightest. It's almost like these chickens are made of lead or something, they barely get pushed back. Fifthly, there's about a 1 in 10 chance that each chicken will just ignore the sweet potato. And sixthly, and maybe most damningly, is the fact that the sheer amount of chickens on screen when stalling them out like this causes an insane amount of lag, turning levels that should have taken 15 minutes to beat into 40-minute slogs. The saving grace of this abundance of avian bodies is that going forward, the gum nut is turbo value. Like this plant will shit out 100 gum per use. Day 11 is an extremely interesting challenge I forgot existed. We're limited to just 500 sun. This is what I absolutely love about this series. This level would normally just be picking 5 of any broken plant and sitting back as it fires away, but for this challenge we really need to think outside the box. Ideally, we need a setup that's going to be sustainable, and I know just the plant for a bit of rejuvenation. The idea of this strategy is to set up a single row of walnuts in front of an aloe that's on a minecart so it can heal all of the walnuts on demand, while we spam zero cost stalling plants. Cute idea, but the aloe is practically useless here. Credit where it's due though, we did pass this level first try, but I do suspect the reinforcement probably had a larger contribution to our victory. Day 12 is just a simple skip'ems. Day 13 was an unnoteworthy easy level, and you know what that means? It's time for my favourite part of this series, Shagrot's micro presentation. And this week is about my absolute least favourite content on YouTube. There are many forms of sludge content. Reaction videos, AI slop, doom posting, any sort of pilled content, but for me, one type of slop remains king. How to succeed at YouTube videos. In my opinion, this is the absolute worst content on the platform. It falls squarely into the self-help category of videos, which already kind of suck, and it's just millions of videos containing the exact same 10 points. These content farms are always run by the most obnoxious people on earth, and they are always trying to sell you something. Now, before I complain too much about them, I just want to let you know I've been there. I, like most people, always wanted to be a YouTuber growing up, and I used to listen to these videos every single day at the gym. But it's just so motivating to see these channels that have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers, and you just want to absorb that information so you can see success as well. But the issue is these channels just fake it all. These videos will show off all the money they're making, but I assure you, it's all fake. These channels will claim to be experts at YouTube and know the algorithm like the back of their hand, and their proof is always that they have a large following. But the issue is these channels grow by just recreating this sludge over and over and over again, and because there's so much interest in it, they do pick up subscribers. They'll tell you that the advice they're giving you has led them to their success, but it hasn't. These videos try and sell you on these algorithm hacks that are just blatant lies. This video claims you need to lie about the use of AI. Not only is that completely unfounded, it's dishonest and lame. This video claims that you shouldn't make a video unless someone else has already made that video. That's insane advice. But maybe the single worst advice these channels always give is to just steal content. It's so annoying. There are thousands and thousands of channels out there that just repeat the exact same video hundreds of times, telling you to steal content. It might be the single most common advice in this niche, and it's always the hustler type that tell you this. I can't stand them. Chinstrap McDipshit over here made a video called How I Got 29,000 Subscribers in 3 days Just by Copying Other People's Content. The title's written like it's a challenge video. Or how about how to steal content on shorts with no strikes and still go viral? There are tens of thousands of videos out there just like this, and I just find it really lame. I'll end this presentation by giving a bit of advice. I think it's fine to watch a couple of these videos, there are a lot to learn here, but just watch 1 or 2, they are all the same. I think you'll find more success by watching videos on how to learn different editing softwares and learn how to master audio. Finally, the most boring advice is normally the correct advice, just keep making content. In Piracies, Day 14 was possibly the most difficult level of any world in any challenge I've ever had to do. But Day 14 of Wild West might actually have topped it. I'm not going to dwell on this level too long, as there isn't much complexity to it. The piano zombie just made this level absolutely hell, and the amount of chickens make it supremely hard to hold the zombies back. I tried so many strategies in the 5 hours it took to beat this level. Gumnuts and tile turnips are cool until you realize you're spending thousands of sun to do less than what the reinforcement does for free. I tried sapflings and reinforcement spam, but even that barely worked. Suck and blow is completely useless because the chickens just don't care. Once again, I decided that it's time for us to bring out the strongest strategy at our disposal, the boing setter. Unfortunately, the boing setter didn't work in the last world, but I still believe it's the strongest stalling plant in the entire game. But for some baffling reason, only known to the inner machination of PopCap's mind, the boing setter kills chickens. It doesn't do any damage, but it instantly kills all chickens on screen. I know the boing setter destroyed gravestones, but this is just taking the piss. I came so close to giving up on this level. 4 hours and 43 minutes into this level, I had it all but beat until a chicken walked right through a garlic, like giving no shits at all. This tilted me so bad. I almost gave up the entire challenge, but instead of backing down, I just slept it off and came back stronger the next day. And I beat the stage in under an hour of attempts. Day 15 was a doozy. This is the first level that limits how many plants can die, and we're only allowed 2 deaths. This spells doom for this challenge. This means we can't use any form of wall plants, as not only do they get eaten, but we'd have no way of triggering lawnmowers, without digging up the walls, which counts as dying. Normally, when walls fail, we spam instants, but we also can't do that, because that also counts as losing plants. With no walls or no suck and blow, chat instantly wrote this one off as impossible, and I was inclined to believe them. Except we do have one super OP worst case scenario option in the Solar Sage, which allows us to end the stage without needing lawnmowers. But all it did was confirm my worst fear. The piano zombie is actually the devil. He can't be enlightened. That's so fucking annoying. It means this level is basically impossible. Except moments before I gave up, I had genuinely one of the most brilliant ideas of my life. This level doesn't have any chickens, meaning the boing setter is an option here. And the boing setter is a way of stalling zombies back without needing any instant use plants and without having any walls eaten. We still can't end without lawnmowers, but check out how cool this little maneuver is. Using an intricate system of infinites and escape routes, we're able to create a pathway of infinites that the zombies can waltz right through without ever needing to eat a plant. If we repeat this row by row, eventually we'll be able to trigger every single lawnmower without ever losing a plant. Now this is unbelievably cool, but it still doesn't work. The piano zombie just moves zombies into the lanes with the boing setter, making this level impossible. Except this happened. The level just sort of ended. I tried to figure out what caused this. Chat assumed it was the boing setter pushing them so far back they despawned, but I've used the boing setter a load. It's one of my favourite plants, and this has never happened before. My only assumption is that having so many zombies alive and moving stuff around with the escape route might have crashed the game or something. It did make a hideous glitchy sound when it happened. All I know is I'm summing this one up to the lore of we take those. Day 16 is a really easy protection level, there isn't much to say. Check out the sick fanart someone made though, I was laughing at this for like 5 minutes straight. Day 17 is a flower level, which I'm able to beat by letting a bull zombie launch an imp over the flower line. I was pretty chuffed at that solution. Day 18 was the single hardest level of the nut challenge, that I didn't kind of cheat on. And whilst I was actually playing out this level, I started to think it wasn't possible, but not for the usual reasons. This level contains an unreal amount of chicken wranglers. So many, in fact, I was convinced we wouldn't be able to hold them back. And on top of this, we only get 1,500 sun to deal with this full sage. And I couldn't find a solution that worked. Suck and blow is not viable here because not only are we limited on sun, the chickens just don't care about the hurricane, or the garlic, or the sweet potato for that matter. But I did somehow get it to work using 2 sweet potatoes. This way, we guarantee the chickens are sucked into one lane and we don't need to use any garlic, they'll just get eaten up straight away. The issue of this build is now we need to use twice as many gum nuts on a limited budget, but the spearmint was able to solve this. But here's what got me thinking this wasn't going to work. There are currently hundreds of chickens on screen and hundreds of gum holding them down. The game slowed down to a crawl. I know it doesn't look too bad right now, but what you're watching is on 2 times speed. If you look carefully, the gum nuts are triggering in slow motion, and it felt so much worse than it looks. I was genuinely worried the game was going to crash. Luckily we beat it only in a couple of attempts. This was an incredibly fun level looking back, it was a cool way to beat it. Day 19 is another brutal combination of challenges. This time it's not losing more than 2 plants with only 2,000 sun to spend. We have all the same issues as the last time we did this type of level. I can't stall with wall plants and we can't use any instant use plants either. But I concocted maybe my greatest idea yet. I call it the she bounced on my infinites till I garlicked. I probably need a better name for that. By putting all of our plants in one row and forcing the zombies into that row, we drastically cut down on the amount of sun we need to spend to defend our lawn. And on top of this, I found a way to recreate the effect of the suck and blow without ever needing a plant to die. By using 3 boing setters in combination with 3 infinites, we're able to hold back zombies almost indefinitely. By sacrificing one of our few allowed plant deaths, we use a power lily and place a garlic in our lane. This strategy worked so well without any input that I left to go make some noodles and kept the level running on stream. And as I returned 10 minutes later, the zombies had just chewed through the sweet potato, and I was able to sit down and use the plant food just in time to win the level. Honestly, one of my all-time gaming achievements. I think maybe what's most notable about this strategy is that it is 100% impossible without the aloe. The aloe healing the garlics and sweet potato was absolutely crucial. I'm so glad we finally found a use for it. Honestly, one of my all-time favourite plants. Day 20 I accidentally skipped over in my playthrough, but it's a brain boggler or whatever, so it didn't matter. Day 21's another stupid level where we're limited on sun and we have a flower line, but I found a really stupid workaround. I discovered in my umpteenth squillion attempts at this world that for some reason there's a really small chance that the reinforcement will turn the prospector around. So I just kept attempting the level until I could reverse the polarity of this moonshine drunken dullard, and it just kinda worked. Day 22 is another brain bombarder. Now, day 23. This is the first level I couldn't beat. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't give it too many attempts, as it's pretty obvious from the start, this level is close to impossible. Don't let zombies trample the flowers, don't lose more than 2 plants. Chickens and piano zombies. This is just such a killer combination of challenges, I don't think I have what it takes to beat it. For now, I'm gonna come back to all the seemingly impossible levels with a strategy that I think will work, but it only works once I've beaten the full game. Day 24 shouldn't have been as difficult as I made it, by constantly forgetting about the plants we're protecting. But the reinforcement makes this level specifically so hard to lose, it only took 40 minutes of attempts, which is really good for this challenge. Well, that fucking sucked. Surely guys, it's all up from here, right? If you're watching this video around the first 6 or so hours that it came out, then I'm live right now playing what could possibly be the hardest world of this challenge. I've also just been streaming more in general. I've picked up quite a cool community over there. It's fun to just play games with them. Come join us on Twitch, link in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. Cheers. If you thought that piano music sucked for 60 minutes, try 12 hours. I lost my mind.